Hello, I'm Gloria Brooks, founder of NatureGlo Science. Welcome to the Sharks Online Unit Study. I'm so glad you're here, and I hope that you enjoy this presentation. What I'm going to be doing now is called a Prezi, so it's PowerPoint on steroids, and I hope you enjoy it. Let's get started. All right, so today we're doing a Prezi presentation about the introduction to sharks. So we'll get started here. So sharks, first of all, come from the animal kingdom and from phylum Chordata. That means they're part of all animals with backbones. Class Chondrichthyes, or cartilaginous fish. Subclass Elasmobranchi, which includes sharks, rays, skates, and sawfish. Infraclass Euselachii, including sharks and rays. So notice here, right down here, infraclass, the groups are getting smaller and smaller. So first we started off with the animal kingdom, which includes all of the animals on the planet. And now we're all the way down here to just two groups of animals, sharks and rays. Superorder Selachomorpha, which includes sharks and rays. It comes from the Greek cartilaginous fish. So let's talk about shark characteristics. So they have cartilaginous skeletons, which are hard and flexible. Go ahead and touch your nose and give it a little gentle wiggle back and forth, like the bridge of your nose, maybe slightly near the tip. And you'll notice that it's flexible. You've probably noticed that before, but that's cartilage. So that's an example of similar what sharks have. Shark skeletons are made of that same material. Their heads have 5 to 7 gill slits on both sides. They have what's called dermal denticles that make up their skin. These are small tooth-like plates. You can see the image here. It looks like overlapping roof tiles. They're not roof tiles, obviously, but this aids them in swimming swiftly through the water. They have multiple rows of teeth lining their jaws, and if they lose a tooth or a row of teeth during, say, a big hunt, they will regrow those teeth. Pretty amazing. Shark teeth. So here we have the jaws of a great white shark, and notice the double row of teeth. It's pretty incredible. It'd be amazing if human teeth could regrow. Fortunately, we have to get implants and things like that. Here we have jaws of megalodon, meaning the word megalodon means big tooth. Megalodons are now extinct. Notice the man peacefully seated within the jaws of this megalodon. Let's talk about their geographic range. So sharks have a mostly worldwide distribution, save for the very northern cold, chilly waters of the north or very cold waters of the south. Let's look at the map more closely here. So species richness of sharks. So here we have a color bar on the right-hand side. Notice we have this pale minty kind of blue-green. That's for just one species. So notice the areas where there's just one species of shark. And then in the far north, then we bump up to 12 species with this color here, with this darker aqua color. Then 36 species, 47, all the way up to 105 species. So which geographic ranges have the most shark species? So you'd want to just give the continent name. Okay, so just find the red areas and point to it with your finger. Okay, so you should have pointed to this area and this area here. So go ahead and say out loud what continents. What's this continent here? And this continent here. So those are the two continents, and if you said Asia and Australia, you were correct. So off the coasts of those continents have the most species of sharks. So our geographic range chat about sharks continues. They live in a wide range of aquatic habitats at varying temperatures. They live in shallow coastal regions, deep waters on the ocean floor. and out in the open ocean. Now, bull sharks are an exception. They can live in saltwater, freshwater, and also a combination of salt or fresh called brackish waters. There's always an exception to the rule in nature, it seems. Shark physiology. So what is physiology, first of all? It's the study of how living systems work, such as heart, lungs, and then how those systems work within an organism. And here you can see this diagram of a shark. Here it's pointing to the kidney, the intestines, the stomach, dorsal aorta, the esophagus, the aorta, the heart, the liver, the pancreas, the spiral valve within the digestive tract, which we'll talk more about shortly. Let's talk about shark buoyancy. So first of all, what is buoyancy? It's the ability to float in air, water, or other fluid. And in this case, sharks need to float in water. So here are the contributing physical attributes of shark that contribute to their buoyancy. So they're lightweight cartilaginous skeletons, and their scales, the dental dermicles or dermal denticles, aid them in moving swiftly through the water. The lightweight cartilaginous skeleton is pretty amazing in helping to keep it afloat. They have a liver full of lightweight lipids. Pectoral fin pushes the water down, so this gives the shark lift in water. Also, its body shape, right? This little diagram is showing how the body shape aids in torpedoing it through the water. And this word here is supposed to be water. So also its tail is very important in pushing it through the water. Okay, shark breathing or respiration. What is respiration? It's the movement of oxygen from the outside environment to the cells within the tissues and the transport of carbon dioxide outside the body. Most species breathe by buccal pumping or gulping down water. Obligate ram ventilators, the great white mako and whale sharks, and around 22 other species of shark can breathe by continuously swimming and ramming water down their throat. And the obligate ram ventilators have to keep swimming or they will drown. Here we have a diagram of water going through into a shark's mouth through its gills. The gills filter out the oxygen and push out the carbon dioxide. Shark thermoregulation. What is thermoregulation? It's the process which allows an organism, such as sharks, to maintain a steady core temperature even when the surrounding water temperature is different. Now, most sharks and fish are cold-blooded. There are exceptions, however. Here we have lamnid sharks and tunas. Lamnids include the short-fin mako, the great white shark, and also tuna fish have heat-generating muscles. So right here at the core of this shark, you can see these muscles generating heat. Well, it's a diagram showing you the muscles generating the heat. And then here, most other fish are entirely cold-blooded, so they don't have this central heating area like these lamnid family of sharks. So let's look closer at the family Lamnidae. So family Lamnidae includes short-fin mako. Here's an example of a short-fin mako, and great white sharks. So they are homeothermic. They maintain a higher body temperature than the surrounding water. Here's another diagram illustrating the core muscles generating heat within the shark. But notice as the heat is generated, the further out into the shark's body, the cooler the temperature is. And the reason they have this is it allows them to have short bursts of incredible energy. So that's an important function of that central bundle of muscles producing immense heat. Family Lamnidae, short-fin mako and great white sharks, for example. So they have a strong muscle center, which is uses a system of blood vessels called the ret mirabile to distribute their body heat. This makes them partly warm-blooded. Here's a diagram of their, well, here we have the skin, the artery, and the veins. We have the arteries and veins working together to regulate this heat around their body and also push blood throughout their body as well. So blood vessels in the gills, there's the heart pumping the blood, artery and vein under the skin, dorsal aorta. So very nice diagram there. All right, next we come to shark digestion. So sharks actually have pretty short digestive systems. Here it is, right here. So they swallow their food whole, or they will bite off large chunks. They have U-shaped stomachs, intestines. Some shark species have folds or spiral. Here's a spiral valve within the intestines. So that's pretty good, pretty interesting. So spirals are actually one of nature's most common patterns. All right, so let's look at the specific organs involved with digestion. So why don't you just pause here and let me know, point out the organs which are specific, that you think are specifically involved with the shark's digestion. Go ahead and go now. Okay, so I'll go ahead and you'll see if you're right. So if you said liver, that's correct. The celiac artery, the pancreas, the stomach, the kidney, the intestine, the spiral valve, the rectal gland, the spleen, and the cloaca are all involved with its digestion. Okay, here's a video. I'm not going to play it because we might have latency, but I'm actually going to put other videos from Jonathan Bird, but I don't want to play them during my presentation. I'll allow you to use those for review. So this is a great video. It shows you the internal anatomy of shark digestion. It's a middle or high school dissection. It's done with photographs. You don't actually see them cutting into the animal. I thought it was well done. If you don't want to see the internal anatomy at all, I understand you can skip this video. But for those who think you can handle it, it's a very good watch and very educational. Okay, so next we have shark senses. We'll talk about their eyesight, hearing and lateral line, smell, and electroreceptions. So eyesight. Now, interestingly enough, their eyes are similar to human sight anatomy. And here you can see a basic shark eyeball anatomy. They have rods for low light and cones for allowing them to see in color. They actually have better night vision than humans. They do have eyelids, and they have a tapetum lucidum, which is a reflective layer behind the retina. The same type of mirror effect that you see with cats at night. If you've ever seen a cat's eyes shining back at you, it's because they have a tapetum lucidum. Shark hearing and lateral line. So shark hearing and lateral line actually work together. They have tiny holes, which we can't see in this diagram, but they are there. They're one little hole located about here, where my pointer is, and then one on the opposite side in approximately the same location. And their tiny ear holes together with the lateral line canals allow them to sense their environment, to hear and feel. Let's talk about their smell. So sharks have nostrils. They're actually called nares or nasal cavities. The nares are only for smelling, not breathing. They can detect 1 part blood within 1 million parts water. Pretty incredible sense of smell. So let's study this diagram here. Smell, they can smell up to or over 100 meters. They can sense pressure over 100 meters. They can see just over 100 meters or around 100 meters. They can sense electrical perception with the lateral line and the tiny holes, which we'll talk about shortly, on their head, or about at 50 centimeters. And then here represents them directly tasting, touching, and sensing temperature on their bodies. Shark electroreception or electrosensory. So these tiny holes here, these are called the ampullae of Lorenzi, named after the guy Lorenzi, his last name, who discovered them. So there are thousands of tiny holes in a shark's face and body, which allows them to sense electric currents from living organisms around them. So all living organisms exude electric currents. Sharks can sense those in their bodies. This allows them to detect electric fields, which all living things produce. And thank you for watching.